Hi, I'm Nagdan. In this video, we're gonna talk about how you can do advanced stuff with camera in gamemaker. So without any further ado, let's begin. You remember from last video that we talked about the easiest way to use camera and how to zoom in, zoom out, and change the target of our camera. In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can do that with codes. So you have more access to the camera itself. So for that, let's just create a object for controlling our camera. I want to call it OBG camera. And this object is all you need for the camera. No other object is needed, okay? And we can put this OBG camera in control, and you can see it will be clear as before. All the controls is in the control folder and OBG camera and OBG obstacle in there. So if you didn't watch my video about how to write code properly to be more readable and easy to develop, just watch my beginner videos playlist of platformer game, and I did explain to you how you can write code to be easy to develop. Okay, so now that we have this OBG camera, let's delete all those things that we done with the view and camera of building camera that gamemaker provide for us. So I will delete all of these from last video. We don't need them. We just use this viewport and camera that gamemaker create and provide for us, and we use that and it works fine, and everything, you can do everything with that. But this way that I'm gonna show you is advanced way to have more access to the low level functions of our camera. Okay, so now we have this. Let's just play it to show you what we have done till now. And you can see we have two player in here, and we want to follow them and use camera on them and change the target of our camera. Okay, so we have this OBG camera we created before, and let's just add create event. First thing to do, let's just give it, you don't need to give it any description because it is OBG camera, it's self-explanatory, right? So first thing first, you should create a camera. So we say cam equal camera create. That's first thing to do. Next, we need to tell this camera where to look at and how to look at, right? So just type look at and it will give you this function, matrix build look at. Okay, don't worry about its name. If you hit middle mouse on it, it will show you the documentation for that, and you can see it here. It will explain everything. This is the documentation. The first input is x from, the x coordinate of the position to look from. Okay, so where exactly our camera should be in our room. Okay, so I want to give it an x and y of our camera. Okay, for the z from, you can put whatever value you want, because you don't want to create a 3D camera. You need just 2D camera. So whatever value you put in this z from, it will be okay. So the next property is x2, y2, and z2, and these are the coordinates of the position to look to. Okay, so the x and y that we want to look at this plane or game is x from, and where we want to look at is where to look at. Okay, this function that we have here. So we want to look at an x and y again, 0 to z2 variable. I want to put a 0 because our 2D game, z of our 2D game is 0. Okay, so that's it for z2. And for the x up, y up, and z up, if you look at the documentation, it's the coordinate of the up vector. It's just a vector that show the what is the up direction of our camera. So in most cases, you want to use this value 0, 1, and 0. Okay, 0 for x, y for 1 for y, and 0 for z. And that's all you need for this matrix build look at. And I want to call it look at. Okay, we put it on this look at, and after we've done that, we can say camera set mat. Okay, and we give it the our camera for the first input, and the next input is our look at. Okay, we need another thing for creating our camera, and that's a projection. What is the x and y or width and height of our camera? Okay, so in here you can see in camera property, in here we had x position and y position that we set it in here, x and y position of our camera. Okay, and now we should create this width and height. Okay, and for doing that, just search for proj and it will find the three matrix build projection. Okay, we need a projection, right? So because we are creating 2D game, we should use orthographic camera, but if you want to create 3D game, you can use perspective or perspective FOV. In this case, we want to use orthographic. Okay, so the first input is the width, and the width, I want to put this value that we set in before, whatever value you want. It just should be a multiply or divided value of our viewport. Okay, so our game won't stretch to that. And for the height, this value that we have before, and with changing this value you can zoom in and zoom out, and I will show you how you can do that. In the last video about camera, I did show you the easiest way to do this, but this way is giving you more access to low-level functions. And this Z near and Z far, let's just go to documentation. It's for the near clipping plane. It means that what if the camera is here and our game or plane or object our game is in here, we tell the camera from what Z should render to what Z. So this one is in here is Z near, and you wanna let's say 1000 pixel ahead of this camera to be rendered. Okay, so we put one for the Z near and 1000 for the Z far. Okay, so let's just one and a big value no matter what, because you are doing a 2D game, so whatever value you put in here, it should work. You put 100 in here, so I think if you put 100 or 101, it should work. Okay, but if you give it a big value, it works fine again. So know that we have this projection. Let's just call it var projection. So let's change this variable to var as well. Okay, so after that, let's just set that projection for our camera set camera set projmat, and the first input is our camera, and the next input is our projection. So let's just copy and paste this in here. And after this, we should set the camera to our viewport in here. Okay, so you remember from last video, we go to room setting, we check this clear display buffer, we enable viewport, we clear viewport background, we make this viewport visible, and we want to use this viewport. Okay, so let's just set the camera for this viewport. So for that, we say view camera 0 to be equal to our camera. So with this, we create our camera and set it for our view. Okay, like we have all of this in here. You remember we could set a object to our camera to follow. Okay, we can have that in here as well. So let's just create a variable object to follow, and I want to give it a default value of our obj layer. Okay, so now our camera have something to follow, but we didn't do anything with it. It's just for creating a default variable that we can change after this. Next thing to do, I want to add a step event in here. Let's just get rid of this description or all the comments. For our camera to be smooth, I want to use lerp function, and I did show you how you can use lerp function to zoom in and zoom out in last video, so please watch that. I want to use lerp function to change the x and y of our camera to the position of the object that we want to follow. So for that, we say lerp. The value that we want to change is x. The value that we want to change into is our object to follow dot x of our object that we want to follow. By how much? Every step, I want to say 10% in every step, go to that position. Okay, and if you increase this 0.1 to 0.2, it will go to that position faster. So we did it for x, so let's just do it for y as well. Just change all of these to y's, and everything should work. Okay, so we set the x and y. Okay, but we didn't tell our camera to look at that x and y. So how we can do that? Let's just copy and paste this look at in here. Okay, just copy and paste it, it will work. And after that, let's just copy and paste this look at in here. With this two line, we tell the camera to look at that x and y that we are changing all the time. So with that, we have our camera, and let's just add it to our room. I want to add it up here, and you can see it will be our camera will be here, but it will go to our player in here. And let's just run it to see if it's working or not. And you can see it will go to our player and everything is working fine and it's smooth, right? But you can see there are some blank spaces in here that in the last video you did see the game maker get rid of all of that automatically, but in this case we should do that by ourselves. So how we can do that? In this x and this ler function we can do that. So what we want, we need some offset from this y-axis. We don't need our camera to go down like this, okay? So for that you can just minus a offset value in here like 150, and when you reach that value it will work everywhere, okay? And you can see the space in the bottom is gone and everything is working fine, but the space on the left is not working fine. So what we can do about that? For that we can check the position of our player like this. If object to follow dot x was greater than a value, okay? So if the player is going to this way, if the camera goes away, don't let it go that way, okay? That as easy as it gets. And we can give it a value in here like 300, okay? Of course you can just say display get width divided by 2 or 4 and it will work for you, okay? So no, we say if the object to follow is greater than 300, in that case follow the object that we want to follow, okay? So now let's just run it to see if it works or not. So you can see the camera is following our player number 1 and it won't go to the left and we don't have that blank space. Now everything is working fine in X and Y and everything is working fine, okay? So the next thing that I want to show you how you can change the target of our camera. It's easy. Let's just add an event for key pressed digits number 1, and in here we say object to follow to be obj player number 1, okay? Let's just copy and paste this for key pressed digits number 2, and let's just put it in here. When they have 2 on their keyboard, it will follow the object player 2, okay? So now let's just run it to see if it works or not. You can see it's following our player number 1, but if we hit 2 on keyboard, it will smoothly go to player number 2, and you can see how smoothly it go to that player. Everything is working fine. For the zooming, you can do it yourself. So for the zooming, if you decrease the value of this x and y in here or width and height in here, it will zoom in, and if you increase this value, it will zoom out. And again, you can do it like we did it in here with ler function to be smooth. And in the last video, I did show you how you can zoom in and zoom out smoothly. Hope you liked this video. Please, if you want to help me, hit that like button. It helps me a lot. And subscribe to my channel. And if you have any suggestion to create another video about anything, please leave it in comment. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.